First go to the category page, category testing, and I think it is already working. Let me create another category really quick and let's see what happens on that different category page. So here you can search the endpoints as well in the Postman, search for the categories. So this is the place from where we created the category earlier. Here I can add category to hit the send button. Okay, the token was expired, so let's get back our latest token that we created recently. Search for the login, and here this is the token. Copy that token, and here go back to the authorization and replace this token with the new one. Okay, new category has been created with this slug. Copy this slug, and in the URL I'm going to replace the slug with this one. Okay, I think this is not working. You can see it is always showing the same list of posts, so let's fix that. Now go to the post list component, make sure you are in the public folder for this component. Okay, here we are going to define an input. To define an input, you have to import the input from the Angular/core, and now here I will name it category slug, and the default value is string. For now I can use the actual slug that actually correct, and we will see if that works. Okay, so this is the default value. We will remove that after it is implemented. I added just for testing purpose. Okay, now when we will get the posts, we can pass some filters to it. So for example, here I need to pass the category slug in this way, this dot category slug, and open this function in the service, and we can add the options or filters property variable, and we will give it the type. It will have an object with these filters. First one would be the category slug, that is totally optional. Now copy the variable name and we will pass it. Okay, as we are using the get method, so we will convert every filter to query parameter and append to the URL. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, now pass this URL here, and here I will create a constant params is equal to new URL search params, and now we will check if category slug is available in the filters. Okay, so we are setting the category slug by using that category slug in this by using the set function. Save it. After that, we will concatenate all of these params with the URL by using params.toString. We're using the question mark here to append the QString variables. Okay, save it. Now save it as well. Go to the browser, and here go to the inspect element and reload it. Go to the network tab, and here you will notice in the headers we are passing the QString variables where category slug is equal to testing. Okay, so that's when data is being passed correctly. Now we just need to implement the backend. We need to update the backend accordingly to accept these QString variables. So go to the post controller. Here we have a controller with the name get all posts controller. So here we can implement the filters as well. Okay, so I can use the Zord schema. So Zord schema for accepting filters from QString variable. Okay, so I have created a schema by using Zord z.object that has the category ID and tag ID. So the category ID is optional, tag ID is also optional. Now we can parse the data. We have passed the request.query that has all of those QString variables. We have parsed it by using the safe parse that gave us the safe data, and now we can check if safe data.success is false, then we will throw the error with the status 400, and if everything is fine, then we will pass the filters. First we will get the data from the safe data.data, and we will pass it here. Here I will pass an object with both of these values, category ID and tag ID. We're getting error because we never defined those filters, so that's why it is not working yet. So let's expect filters, and here I have defined these filters: category ID, tag ID or user ID. So now we need to add these conditions in our query. For that we need to add the where property here, and within this where we will pass all of these variables like category ID, user ID, but tag ID would not be included in the where condition directly. We will implement it shortly. Okay, all right. Now the problem is that if category ID was not defined, then it should never create this condition. So in order to do that, I will cut this object and use the where object that we will define here on the top. Const or let where of type any with empty object, and here we will use the if conditions to fill this where object. So if there is a category ID in the filters, then we will add the category ID in the where object from the filters.category ID. Same for the filters.user ID. Okay, all right. So this filter is implemented. Okay, we need to pass the category ID and tag ID. That would be more convenient. So go to the front end, and instead of getting the category slug, I will be getting the category ID. Sorry about that. And the type would be number. And let's add the category 1 here for now. By default, if we look at the categories here, we have category ID 1 and 2. Okay, now here let's use the category ID. This we also need to update the category ID here as well. Make sure to replace the category slug with the category ID everywhere. Okay, save it. And now we know that here the category ID is of type number instead of string, like this. And here now as we are setting the category ID in here, and this function is expecting this as a string. So either you can just add as any, or you can just convert it into the string like this, or you can use toString function. Close it. Now we're passing the category ID, but something wrong happened. It is not working. If you go to the post, go to the preview, we got a Zod error that is saying that category ID should be string. So go to the schema. As this data is coming from the queryString variable, so that's why queryString will always give you the string, not the number. So here we can just remove this condition. It can be string, it's fine, because this data is coming from the queryString variable, so it is always coming in the string. Now we have error here, so let's convert it to integer by using parseInt. Same for the tag ID. I have used the parseInt. If tag ID is available, then it will parseInt and pass that value. Otherwise it will be passing the undefined. Save it. Okay, now let's reload it again. Okay, now we got the data against that specific category ID. Now I will pass a different category ID too, and there should not be any data this time. Now you can see data is not coming. So now our post list component is portable. We can update the result based on the provided value from the parent, and this is totally optional. Okay, so if no data is provided, it will get you all of the articles or posts. So now go to the category detail. Okay, now we need to inject the category service with the name category service, and inject function, pass the category service. Make sure to import the category service. Okay, once that is done, go to the category service and add the base URL and the HTTP client service. So go to any other service where we have added those lines, copy these 2 lines and go back to the category service, and on the top I will add these, and make sure to import the environment and import the inject function and import the HTTP client service. Okay, once that is done, we need to implement a function get category by slug, and here we need to receive the slug from the parameter of type string, and now we will return the response of the get method that will hitting the API/categories endpoint, and after that we need to define this endpoint on this path /slug/ the slug route parameter. Okay, so before using it, let's implement it. Go back to the category.routes in the backend project, and here we will register the get method on slug/, this is the name of the route parameter, and we need to implement another controller with the name get category by slug. Okay, we need to define it where the get categories controller was defined. So in the categories.controller, I am exporting a constant with the name get category by slug is equal to async. So here the name should be get category by slug controller, and now here I will get the slug from the request.params.slug, and now we will get the category by using that slug. Okay, so if we will check if category was not found, then we will simply return the error message with the status 404, and we already have created this function that is imported here. So we are using the same function. If category was found, then we will simply return that category. Okay, save that. Now we need to import this controller. Okay, it has been imported. Save it. Now go back to the front end and let's make sure if this function is being called. Go to the category detail. After the category was retrieved from the query from the Angular route parameter, then we will utilize that and we will start load category. All right, let's define this function here, load category, and now I will use this dot category service dot get category by slug. I have passed it the category, that is the slug. I have passed it, and this function gave me the data from the backend. So actually this should be the type of I category instead of the string, and it should be optional, and we should not store the slug. I guess we can just save it in a local variable. Let's slug and pass it here in the load category function in this way, and receive it here like this, and set the type of string, pass that slug parameter here. Okay, now we can save the data variable in the category variable. Okay, we did not define the return type here, so let's add the generic type with the type I category. Okay, great. Now all of the type errors are gone. Once category is loaded, we will go to the HTML, and here we will use category dot name. Okay, and we will wrap everything inside the if condition, that if category was loaded, then we want to display all of these things. So now we should not make it optional, because this code would only be loaded if category is there. Okay, now we should pass the category ID as an input in this post list component, and make sure to wrap the category ID in square brackets so that we could pass the category ID as a number like this. Also category.id is the JavaScript code. So this is the JavaScript syntax. So in order to execute that, we must have to wrap it in the square bracket. Otherwise it will not consider this piece of code as a JavaScript. Okay, save it. Now in the URL we have testing, and this is what we have. This is loading the correct data under that category. Okay, and the name of category is also being shown. Let's get the slug for the another category and replace it with the category -2. Category -2 is loaded, but still it is showing the posts. So you can see that this time category ID was not loaded, the category ID was not added. Similarly here category ID was not being added. So let's see what's wrong there. Go to the post list section, and we are passing the category ID. Go to the get posts, and here let me check or alert the filters dot category ID. Save it. Okay, it is giving us the undefined. Okay, I think I know the reason. So go to the post list component. We are calling the get post function immediately in the constructor, but at that time we did not receive the input yet. But we should call this piece of code only once we have the input available. So for that we need to implement a lifecycle hook. So we have the on init, on after content init, I guess. So let's implement this function. Here I will just alert the category ID just to see if that is available. Yes, category ID was available at that time. So now we can move all of this code into that function and replace it with the alert function. We don't need the category constructor anymore. Remove it. Now close that, and this time everything should work fine. You can we still have the alerts. Let us remove it. Save it. Okay, now reload it. This time there is no alert. In the post you can see the category ID is being added in the query string variable. Here let's add the category -2 as the slug, and this time there is the correct category, but there are no posts because there are no posts attached with this category ID. Okay, so this thing is working. Next one is about implementing the tag page. Okay, so let's go to this post. Okay, I think there is another issue. The category detail page is not being loaded. There is an error. Go to the network and let's see what is happening there. in the preview it is saying that post not found. That's interesting. Actually the problem is that when we click on the post, instead of passing the slug, it passes the ID of the post. So let's fix that. Go to the post list HTML page. Make sure you are in the public one. Here you can see I'm passing the ID. It should be slug like this. Now everything is fine. Go back to the home page, open this post, and if you click on the testing, it will load the correct category page. And if you click on the tag, maybe hello world, currently it is on the correct tag, but we are not passing the tag ID. Okay, let's go to the post list, and here we will define another input with the tag ID. Input tag ID of type number, and we can pass the tag ID here as well. If tag ID was provided from the parent, then we will pass it, otherwise it would stay undefined. So go to the get posts in the post service. Here we will add the additional filter that would be tag ID of type number, and this is still an optional. And here I will add another if condition. If tag ID was defined, then use it in the query parameter as well. Okay, save it. And we did not pass the comma here, that's why there is an error. Okay, great. Now before we continue, let's implement this filter in the backend as well. So go to the backend project and go to the post service, and here we are getting the post. These are the filters. We did not implement the tag ID filter yet. Okay, now here you can see we are already including the tag model. So when there is a tag ID filter was provided, then we can use this approach. Instead of simple model, I will use the object syntax here, and in the object we will use model tag, and here we can use the where filters dot tag ID. If that is defined in the filters, then we will add the where object where the ID is equal to, so ID, this ID is the ID of the tag model. So ID is equal to the filters dot tag ID. If the tag ID was not defined, then we will just keep the where condition or where property undefined. Okay, now we can test it. Okay, so in order to test that, go to the postman, and let me duplicate this, and here you can use the post slash or query string. Here you can add the tag ID is equal to 1. Hit the send button, and we got only those posts that have the tag ID 1 attached to it, and it will include only that tag that was specified in the condition. So if the tag ID was 4, then you will notice that the included tag was with the ID 4. Okay, so but if you add a tag ID that is not linked with this post, then it will simply return the array, empty array. So let me just quickly insert another tag here. So go to the tag table, and here I'm going to add XYZ name, XYZ slug, user ID 1, and save. Let me add the created date to now and updated at to now as well. Save it. Alright, now the ID is 5. So let me try the ID 5. Still we will not get any response because there is no post under that specific tag. But if you create a post under that tag, then we will start to see the post. Okay, so I think that is sufficient for now in the backend area. Now go back to the front end and let's test it. Close the post service, and here we are passing the tag ID. Okay, now here first of all we need to get the tag, then we will get the post. Okay, so go to the tag detail component.ts. Okay, first of all we need to inject the tag service is equal to tag service. Make sure to pass it to the inject function like this. Okay, so in this service I need to implement another function that will get the specific get post tag by the slug. Okay, so now we are returning only single post tag on this path. So this is get post tag. Here I can add by slug. Okay, so we are passing the slug. So let's define this endpoint to the backend. Go back to the backend and go to the tag route, and here I will add another endpoint get this. Okay, this is the route parameter, and now let's define this controller function get post tag by slug controller. Copy that and go to that controller, and below that controller we will implement this new controller export const get post tag by slug controller and give it an empty function. Now we will get the slug from the request.params, and then we will get the tag by the slug const tag is equal to await get tag by slug. We already have this function available. We just have to pass the slug. It will give us the relevant slug. Okay. Now I will check the if condition. If tag was not found, then throw the error. But if everything is fine, then return that tag. Okay. By the way, we don't need to put post here. You can just keep it simple. Get tag by slug, because we are not talking about returning the relationship. We are just talking about returning the original tag by the tag slug. Okay, so let's copy this name, close this file, and here replace this with this one, and this post word should be removed here as well. Now let's import this missing function get tag by slug controller. Okay, now it's time to use it. Copy this endpoint, go back to the front end and replace this with the correct path. Great. Close this tag service. Actually go back to that service. We don't need the post word here as well, because this is returning us directly the tag model, not the post tag model. So that's why we should keep following the same convention that we have developed so far. Okay, now I am going to create a function load tag, and here I will use this dot tag service dot get tag, and we will pass the slug this dot tag subscribe. Okay, now this has to be optional and the type should be I tag. Okay, and similarly instead of using this dot tag, we can receive the tag from the parameter. Let's define the parameter with the name tag of type string, and we have to call the this dot load tag function by using the slug that we received from the URL, and this will be a constant slug. Okay, great. Now we are still missing the type. We have to specify the correct type. Here we should have add the I post instead of I post tag. Okay, so in the get tag I made a mistake. Instead of I post, it should be I tag. That's why the error was visible. Close it, and now all of the errors are gone. The tag is saved here, and once tag is retrieved, we can go back to the HTML, and instead of printing the tag object, we will get the name from it, and we should wrap everything in the if condition. If tag was loaded, then execute all of this code, and we have to pass the tag ID. Make sure to wrap it in the square bracket like this and pass it the tag dot ID. Okay, save it. Now everything should work. We are using the tag ID 4 here, and we already have inserted another tag with the slug XYZ. Let's try that XYZ. Okay, this time there are no posts under this tag, but if you pass the correct tag, then it will show the related article. Okay, now these tags are fully functional. If you click on any of these, this will load the tag from the backend and then load the related articles from the database. So I think that's all what I wanted to cover in this long video. I hope that you enjoyed this journey so far. Let's end this video here, and we will continue from the next lecture. If you have any question, then please feel free to ask. Thanks for watching. See you in the next lecture.